So remember, this is continuing on with our lesson from yesterday. We are doing some historiography with the Vietnam War. All right. So we are going to have two different narratives. One from an American soldier point of view, and the second narrative is going to be from a Vietnamese farmer's point of view. All right. So just a little recap. Remember, the Vietnam War was America's longest war. We went to war because, at least in the mainstream perspective, we went to war because we wanted to stop communism from taking over the rest of Southeast Asia. Remember, this is more of an influence of the administration of Truman, who believed that the buck stopped here, all right, and the buck would stop, and the buck was at least communism. Understand that, again, after World War II, most of the wars that the United States has gotten involved in they've been debated. Due to the fact that, again, the question that remains is that due to the fact that does the United States really need to go to war? Was it really necessary that the United States ever go to war? Now, what you're going to see, I want to see what you think. Now, go to your guided practice, which is on Google Classroom. You can also do this on paper. I'm going to have Maddie read this first paragraph for me, and then I'm going to give you a minute to then write down your thoughts from the guided practice to follow that question, and then we'll answer it together. So, Maddie, would you please read the first paragraph for me?
In terms of strategy, it seemed the war out of Alice in Wonderland, the Ho Chi Minh Trail, the enemy's major supply line and infiltration route, ran through Cambodia and Laos. Yet until May 1970, both of those countries were off limits to the U.S. ground forces. We bombed the trail incessantly, but the enemy's ability to move troops and equipment never seemed to slack. We never invaded North Vietnam. As demonstrated during Tet in '68, the enemy could control the tempo of the war when we wished. We, on the other hand, would use unilaterally declared truce periods and would help bombing to signal something never clearly defined, a willingness to talk, I imagine, which the enemy ignored.
All right. So from what we saw, please answer the question that is online for guided practice, and you may begin. I will answer, or we will go over together in 1 minute. So please finish up your thoughts. But in terms of the question that's online, how does Phil feel about the war, about the Vietnam War, from what we've seen in this first paragraph? How does Phil feel about the Vietnam War from this first paragraph? And I'll take answers. Yes?
I don't want to be wrong, but is he trying to say that the Vietnam War is wasting too many resources?
I mean, that could be one answer. What do you think? Like, that is, again,
because
something I would have to
he talks about troops and stuff, and that's why I think that he's saying maybe we're wasting troops by sending people to the Vietnam War.
And how do you know that from that narrative? Like, where can you see that you were able to devise that thought?
I want to say within the first 2 sentences.
All right. So again, the war seemed. It seemed that the war was out of Alice in Wonderland, the Ho Chi Minh, the trail of the enemy's major supply. Okay, I can kind of see this. Why do you think? What is he implying with Alice in Wonderland?
Fanatical. Fanatical.
Fanatical. What else? What else do you think when he's implying this Alice in Wonderland? What do you think he's implying? I'll take someone else for this. Felipe, what do you think? When he's saying Alice in Wonderland, what do you think he's trying to say? something too crazy?
Yeah.
Okay. So again, what I would have down, or what I would do within this, was again, if I were trying to say like how he felt, I would have done what Jeremiah would have done, which is again talk about like again how crazy, or reference how crazy he said Alice in Wonderland, which is a fiction book, right? So obviously it's really crazy, and it's hard to understand because it's almost like fiction, all right? And then also, I kind of agree with you, Jeremiah. Maybe he is saying that it's a waste of money, right? It's a waste of money to be going out. So that's something that I would have to have down encircled again on Google Classroom. Now, moving on to the second question, the most important one, at least in my opinion, is how do you think this narrative conflicts the mainstream narrative in your textbook? How does this narrative conflict the mainstream narrative in the textbook? Thomas, what do you think?
It seemed like a real war that we were supposed to win.
Hmm?
It seemed like a war that we were supposed to win.
We were supposed to win.
control.
Okay. Why? What was the reasonings for us losing this war? Did the book really ever give us a reason why we lost this war? It was just a fluke, right? It was just a little accident, right?
That's what the ones.
Now, wait, what were you saying about?
That's what the ones.
Yeah, it's just like, again, because it's the textbook. Why would the book want us to think that?
They want us to think America's best.
Yeah, of course, right? So the United,
We're
like
not
we
like
can't
this.
lose. It was just a mistake, right? Right? Like again, if I make a mistake in class, it's just a mistake, right? It's not that I don't know. So again, kind of like what we see here from this narrative. If I was writing this down in my guided practice, if I was on the ACT, what I would have done is, okay, to kind of answer that question, I would have taken his ideas, which are again, all right, we are wasting our money, and this is why we are losing in the long run. Okay, that's why we're losing in the long run. We're wasting our money, and we're messing up, right? We're messing up. We're losing our money, and also maybe that's why the book doesn't want to talk about that. We don't want to know that we wasted all our money. Now we're going to move on for the sake of time. I'm going to go on to the Vietnamese version. Okay. So again, we have the American point of view. Even the American point of view is even conflicting the textbook. So I'm kind of interested to see what this is going to show. So Jeremiah, why don't you read this paragraph here?
About midnight, a helicopter landed and American soldiers entered our village, Zhangxi. On that night, when soldiers moved into the village, they took Mr. Tian, an old man, to the bank of the river and struck him on the head, killing him immediately. Then they killed Mr. Tian's wife. They moved to another home, arrested Mr. To, Mr. Hong, and Mr. Dai. They beat the man and shot all three. In another house, they killed Mrs. Lee, I think, and her 3 children. Next door, they killed Mr. Zhu and her 2 children. Then they shot my mother in the head, killing her. Her name was Lan. The American soldiers killed 13 people that night, all women, children, and old people. This was in August 1967. I was 9 years old.
All right. How does that? What do we see from this already? Like, what are we feeling from this? Does anybody want to just give me their personal view? Like, what are we feeling from this? Kate, what were you saying?
Cool.
Cruel. Okay. What else? What other feelings are we seeing from this? Jolie, from what you think, what kind of feeling?
That his family, like, he witnessed people being killed.
All right. Anything else other feelings that we want to kind of put out there? Hold on. I'll see. Yes. Evil. And then, yes, Kara. Heart. Super heartless. And Thomas, last one.
Americans like the bad guys situation. Not
Yeah.
people that know.
Like, look at that. About the Americans soldiers entered our village. The American soldiers. So that's not, again, that's not any other country. That isn't Germany. That isn't, this isn't anything else. So from what we've learned in American history, all right, so again, this is a different narrative, all right? And this is a question that isn't on the guided practice, but how can the United States justify this? Is this justifiable? Why so? Does anybody want to offer why this isn't justifiable? Yes, ma'am. They're civilians. Right? They're civilians.
They won't protect. They can't really protect themselves.
No. Yeah.
It's hard for people to
Exactly. You're doing all. Yeah.
We're armed, so we're killing unarmed people for no reason.
Yeah, we're killing unarmed people why do you think they went in? Why did we, as Americans, supposedly we're supposed to protect the free, right? We're supposed to protect democracy. Why did we do this to these helpless people? Do you think there's a reason? Now, with that question that was open-ended, go to your guided practice. This is guided practice 3. Go ahead and start writing. I will give you a minute, and then we will answer that together. Again, just kind of get your thoughts rolling with that. So, again, for the sake of time, how did that narrative, that question that I have on guided practice is almost the same, literally almost the same as the first one. How does that narrative that this man gave us, the Vietnamese man gave us, conflict with that of the American? How did the narrative that this Vietnamese man gave us conflict with that of the American? Yes, Thomas.
The American women made it seem like we were helping them, and we were supposed to be helping them.
Yeah, isn't that like? And in this man, we certainly weren't helping them by killing them, were we? Do you think that we just had a misunderstanding, or do you think that we legitimately thought they were evil? We thought they were evil to justify such a killing, correct? What else? Well, how did it also? Where are some other conflictions that we have? Take thought. All right, moving on to the second part, though, the guided practice. Do you think that do you think that the United States wants this narrative, the Vietnamese narrative, or rather the Americans' narrative? Why so?
Because we look better in them. It looks like we're here to help, but in case.
And why do you think the United States wouldn't really talk about this one?
Because the
go
other,
back to
like,
you.
sugarcoats it.
The other one sugarcoats it, right? And that was probably not dictated by the United States, right? That wasn't something that the United States said, oh, hey, you have to write this. This is what he thought, right? Again, it kind of justifies you killing people. Where this one, this is the man, he's on the reciprocate on the other side. So what I would have done with your guided practice on your essay, which you would look at it, to justify Matt's answer, to kind of use that answer, right? What I would have done is I would definitely use, again, these primary sources, Mr. Tung, Mr. Cho, and use them like, look, this is what the United States did. And this is, again, it's a problem that the United States has, right? We, as Americans, all right, even though, yeah, the United States was founded on the prospects of liberty, have done so many atrocious things, and we know that, right? What are some other things the United States has done from what we've learned that, again, has been kind of sugar-coated in history? Yes?
Putting Japanese Americans in conflict camps.
Yeah, what else? What else has the United States kind of sugar-coated? Finessed. Oh, wait, I just heard it. What?
Slavery?
Slavery, for sure. What do you think, Seth?
Isn't it Puerto Rico with USS?
No, not Puerto Rico, but I know what you're talking about. Yes, Darren.
Like women's rights and stuff, and how the equality of women.
Yes, equality of women.
The Philippines. Wasn't it?
Yes, but you're thinking Cuba, the USS Maine.
Yes.
Yes, what else?
I was about to say.
I'm thinking what other?
Cuban Missile Crisis?
No, not so much. I'm thinking Trail of Tears.
Oh yeah.
We definitely sugarcoat the Native Americans. We're helping them. We're giving them culture. But we gave them diseases instead, right? We gave them diseases. Something that, again, even though the United States can't be considered a great country, we have done some really atrocious things. Yes.
And like colonization too, how like.
We've done that too.
Yeah.
All right. So, a lot of things the United States has messed up on. Now, again, what I would do, I'll get to you right after, okay? What I would do is I want you to start going into your independent practice. Kind of use those ideas that I gave you today, and we are going to go